sixth sense, perception, those type of things. Every time when I woke up from the extreme violence earthquake dream, I immediately videotape myself and record the incident and the story about the earthquake. And then for those 3 different earthquake dreams, I recorded immediately. So the next day, I went to church because it so happened that that's probably 2011. And the next day would be April 4th. What day was that?
2010, April 4th.
Oh, 2010. Easter day. So we went to church, and there was a big event there. And after the church event, and we stayed there for lunch, something miraculous happened again. And the one time that I saw a guy waiting in line behind me for the lunch, I looked at him. I didn't know him. I looked at him, and because he said that something about the line that brought my attention to him, I looked at him. All of a sudden, I don't know why. It's like from God. I said, "Sir, you're a doctor." She said, "How do you know that?" I said, "I didn't know. It's just something come across my mind." He said, "Yeah, I'm doctor. Actually, that's your brother-in-law, right? What's his name? Jimmy, right? He's really a doctor." And then the next time when we sit together to have right after the ceremony of the Sunday worship, and he was talking to a big guy, like a man, so tall like you. And I went over there. I said, "Is that your son?" Because I never met him before. And he said, "That's your son." So 2 times that I recognized someone that I didn't know completely. And then when we are sitting together with the pastor and you and some other people and the doctor, what's his last name? Jimmy. Yeah, what's his last name? Jimmy Lim. About 10 people. And then I look at a woman sitting right next to him. They didn't talk to each other. I don't know why. Jimmy didn't talk to that woman. But I felt very strange. How come they didn't talk? Because a lot of people sitting around that table were talking. And I got the feeling that they have special relationship, but they didn't talk at that moment. Then you cannot just ask the person that, "Is she your wife?" Because that's very impolite if it's not, right? So I figured out a way to ask him. I said, "Hey, Dr. Lim, has your wife came to this event today?" And then the woman sit on probably his left or right, but anyway, he tried to look at another direction and look around and said, "Oh yeah, my wife came and she's over there." I said, "No, that's your wife." And he said, "Okay, laugh. And actually, that's her wife. That's his wife." So I recognized 3 different people with their background that I didn't know completely. And not only that, after the party, after the lunch, we sit in a room to discuss about Jesus, about Bible, church for 3 hours together with the pastor. And then when we went home, my wife said that, "Hey, you have never had such kinds of dream about earthquake. Can I check and see whether there's an earthquake?" I said, "No, I'm not a person very superstitious. I fight against very hard for the superstition." I said, "No, you don't have to check." But my wife did try to check, and it did indeed that morning after I had the dream. And between the time that we went back from the church, there was 3 big earthquakes that had happened in California. And one of that is the most violent earthquake in the whole United States for that year, 7.9 degrees, in a place close to Mexico. So I think I'm destined to find out the truth about sixth sense or human soul, that kind of things. And actually, that's the things that I've been research on for the last 20 years, because I retired myself into researching on the soul perception and the sixth sense things since I was 40 years old. So I retired at that time. Does not mean that I have money. No, it's just that I want to dedicate myself for some good for the human society. Yeah, so that's very interesting. One more thing. A couple of years before that, there's one time. That's 2006. Right after I married, we have stayed 7 years already, and right before I married my wife. Actually, our marriage is July 17th. Actually, a couple of days after that, the next day after that, we went to the church for the Bible study, and many people talk about God, talk about how to do good things and go to heaven and that type of thing. But by impulse, I'm not a Christian, but I like to worship God and go over there. And then I have some impulse. I stood up to say that if God let me know what's God, if God let me know how to know Him, you may remember, I said, I swear to God, I will not expect to go to heaven. I will die for God, and I will even dare to go to the hell for God, if God need me to do so. And everybody feels shocked. You may remember that. But about 15 people in that meeting witnessed it. So the pastor was there, and you were there. You may not remember, because that's about 16 years ago, 60 years ago. But amazing things that happened. The next day, when I drove my son to some place, someone almost killed me by driving the car recklessly. And I think, wow, maybe I said something wrong, that I don't mind to go to hell, and maybe the God really want to send me to hell. But I don't believe things like that. So twice, the next day there was another thing, almost a car accident happened again. But on that night, I told my wife, I'm a person, whatever I say, I honor it. I will stick for it. If God really, because I don't believe in God, so I don't think that, God would do such kind of thing for me just for saying for something for doing for God. So after I spoke out that I really, would honor what I have swearing for, what I, make my statement for, something happened. On July 23rd, in the whole morning, something very miraculous had happened, that when my wife called her mom in Taiwan, and all of a sudden I told my wife, said that your father is right next to your mom. She said, no way, because my father was living in another town very far away from Taipei, and he was not at Taipei. But when she is talking to her mom, the first thing told her that don't speak too loud, and because I need to be quiet, and your father was right beside me. So it's very interesting that I sense something that has been happening that I didn't know, because I never have any contact with her mom. But in the early morning, and because I have been doing the whole night meditation without sleeping, at about 6:52, because I know the time so well, because we have been recording the whole event. At that moment, I passed out, and my wife turned on the video recording to witness the whole case, and I spoke something while I was not conscious, and very amazing and sacred. And when we look the tape again, we found that the whole message is a poem. And reading this way, side with the Chinese writing way, and it's about 64 paragraphs. And the whole message is talking about the relationship of human to God and to Buddha. It's amazing. But not only that, when we read the poem from the left side, vertically and the right side vertically, there is another poem. That poem match each other together very well. And you know the Chinese poem way is very strict on the form. And this special poem is talking about my life, exactly what had been happening. It's amazing. And I was passed out at that moment. I was unconscious. And during those moments, what I have seen is exactly what other people report. It's like I saw some religious people standing around me. Eventually, at one time when I went to East Berkeley, at the top of Bell building, the tower, I saw that that's really the inside that I had witnessed vision at that moment. So some religious people sitting around me, and I passed away, and my body dissolved into particle and moved and fly into heaven-like dimension. So beautiful, so nice, and then eventually I felt so happy that I passed away that way. I told the invisible God that I would like to stay here. I don't want to come back to the human society to suffer again anymore. But eventually I found myself become conscious a little bit from the under the ground and go into my body. And then I try to struggle. So wait a minute, why I need to come back here? I forgot my wife. Sorry, yeah, I have to think about my wife, or maybe I did think about her, and then I come back, and I felt that I have a kind of mission to do something. And since that moment on, there are a lot of miraculous things happen to me almost every day with regard to human soul and sixth sense and those type of things. So since then, even though now I don't have a religion, because I believe the religion is the human being trying to worship God and set up the function. And but I have faith because I realize that there is something in another dimension that guides us to do the right thing to help the society. So I thank you so much for taking me to that church. And you were the person who took me to that church. Okay, all right, so just a little story I want to share. Thank you so much. Thank you. That's one of the stories I will be reading in my future book, because that book talks all about my experience about ESP phenomena. And also, not only that, because I'm not a believer for the unexplained things, so I try to research and try to use all my experience to analyze what's the real function behind it. And I believe that I have the outcome about the scientific theory, what makes the ESP phenomenon can happen. And it can always explain by science. So I feel happy, and that will be a heavy job for me in the future. Yeah. So thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.